So what have I been saying about Notre Dame? What have I been saying? That they should have stayed in the conference. That I did not like that they were going to leave back to the independent after last year, which they did, which was predicted. We all knew it. I wanted them to stay in the ACC. I loved them being in the conference last year. I thought it was fun. It adds more to the argument about Notre Dame. And no, of course, they had to follow the almighty dollar. They had to follow the almighty, revenue from NBC and all the other employees and other crap they get, for being Notre Dame. But you know what? I don't feel bad for Notre Dame when I'm about to tell you guys, because all these Notre Dame sites I've been to have been saying the same thing. Some complain about it. But over here at Honest About the Irish, I sound like I'm a bitter Fairweather fan, but I'm just telling you how it is. Like, Notre Dame should have known this. And they knew it. They knew. I mean, unless there's going to be some sort of perk that they get a first round bye. And that is the college football format is going to go to 12 teams most likely at the end of the summer in the beginning of this year's season, hopefully. The first 4 teams will get an automatic bye. The 5 through 12 will play first round games. The Power 5 conference teams will automatically be put in the college football playoff format. Now, what does Notre Dame not do right now? What did I start in the beginning of this video? I'm going to make sure you guys are paying attention. And what did I say about Notre Dame? They're not in a conference. Excuse me while I hit the mic there. They're not in a conference, folks, so they're not going to get in a first round bye. They will not, even if they are ranked number 1. Even if they beat every team in their schedule, and they beat, let's say, a number 1 team one week, and a number 3 team the next week, and a number 2 team the following week. They will not become a first round bye because they're not in a conference. So Notre Dame screwed themselves by leaving the ACC. And this whole thing, what have I been saying this whole time? This whole thing, well, Notre Dame's different. Notre Dame's above everybody. No, Notre Dame needs to stop being different. Notre Dame needs to stop being above everybody. Notre Dame needs to be like everybody else and get in a conference so they can have a first round bye. Because it would help with recruiting even better if they were in a conference. And if you're Brian Kelly, Brian Kelly would want to stay in a conference. The school is the one that decides to stay in the independent. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. And I don't feel bad for Notre Dame. I don't. And some of the other Notre Dame YouTube shows out there, Notre Dame shows out there, are saying that the NCAA is doing this to stick it to Notre Dame by only having conference winners beat a first round bye. No, folks, I don't think it's that at all. I don't think they're even thinking about Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is way back in their mind. Okay, even behind Michigan. Okay, because right now Michigan has more things to worry about, like Bo Schembechler's legacy, but we're not going to get into that. Waste our time. But this whole new format that they're proposing will generate, now listen to this, $1.9 billion of revenue for the NCAA and college football. Of course they're not thinking about Notre Dame. And even if Notre Dame was in there, or wasn't in there, I don't even think it would be that big of a difference. So, these Notre Dame fans out there who are butthurt about this, they did it to themselves, folks. Notre Dame should have stayed in the ACC. And it's my opinion. Like, I like the difference of opinion, being in the conference, exposed to being in the independent. Now, in the independent, if Notre Dame beats everyone on their schedule, I mean, the argument was, well, they haven't played anybody, they haven't played a ranked team, blah, 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 But when you go to the ACC and you win a conference championship, you're most likely going to play a couple ranked teams. You're most likely going to play against a ranked team when you go to the ACC championship game, okay? But they're still going to complain about that. They're going to say, well, Notre Dame didn't really beat anyone in their conference championship. They didn't beat anyone all year. They handpicked their games, blah, blah, blah. Their non-conference schedule was too easy. It doesn't matter. They won a conference championship, so they belong and they get a first round bye. It's that simple. Now, you don't have that defense when you're an independent team. I mean, if you beat Ball State and like Western Michigan, let's say you beat a USC team that was ranked number 10 and that's it, the argument there is not as strong because you have nothing to prove. Like you have nothing to show for. A conference championship does that because having a first round bye actually helps out a lot. And I would love to see a Notre Dame get a bye week after winning the ACC championship game, but unfortunately we won't see that because Notre Dame followed the almighty dollar with the revenue with NBC and all the perks that they get. And it's frustrating, folks, being a Notre Dame fan, because I want to see some change. Change is good. Everybody's afraid of change, okay? But I think that change would benefit Notre Dame more than actually what they're going to do, being in the opinion. Just my opinion. And no, I do not think the NCAA in college football is out to get Notre Dame. Okay, that's nonsense. Those are just other Notre Dame fans crying right now. But you know, that's pretty much what I have to say, folks. I wanted to keep it low key, keep it short. But that's just straight out of my heart, non-scripted, you know, not written down, all in my head. It's how I feel. And we'll see how Notre Dame's season plays out this year. Of course, they open up their season September 5th down in Tallahassee against Florida State. A Sunday night game the night before Labor Day, on Labor Day weekend. Now, Honest About the Irish is going to be a seasonable show. Of course, every once in a while, I will have breaking stories like today's story or anything that impacts Notre Dame. But most likely, Honest About the Irish will be a seasonal show from September to January. The season premiere, of course, will be September 5th. And depending on how their season goes, if they go to a bowl game, the season finale will be, of course, in January or December, or even November if they don't even go to a bowl game. And then we do a season wrap-up, and that's it. Because it's very difficult to do college football news 24/7, you know, all the way around the year, throughout the summer and spring. Because here on my channel, we do everything from fishing to Notre Dame to boating to other stuff, blogging, vlogging. So we do everything here at B-Man is Man, including Notre Dame. But Notre Dame football will be the meat and potatoes during the fall time. So I hope you guys, you know, are going to be ready for that in September, late Sunday night on September 5th after Notre Dame's first season opener against Florida State. Let's see how that turns out. But I hope you guys are there to watch. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think.